articulating surface, true? So it's separated by a neck.
Yes.
And it's gonna be a head. And this is gonna be a
Neck.
okay? And this is gonna be the greater
Trochanter.
Okay, now, the only place, this is a big bump, right? Okay, it's tubercle, tuberosity, or trochanter. The only place you find a trochanter is on the
Femur.
So this is it. Greater trochanter and then
Lesser
this is greater,
trochanter.
This is gonna be,
Lesser. And that's towards the
Okay.
back, right?
yep.
Okay.
So you have 2 and 2.
Posterior.
On this one, you have 2 and 2. You got head, neck, big bump, little bump, right?
And
Okay,
the
that takes
fovea.
care of that. That's 2. But what have you got in between? In the humerus, you're going to have a little bit different, right? You got the intertubercular sulcus, right? But now they're going to have 1 layer. But here you have 2. One's a crest and one's a line. Okay, so this one's short and thick. So this will be crest. On the other side, it's going to be thin. So I got head, neck, big bump, little bump, crest, and line, right? So it's 2 head, neck, bump, crest, or lines. Which one's the crest? It's the short one.
I don't have a
but
crest on here.
and the other side's going to be thinner and longer. Okay, it's not going to be pulled out as much. Okay, so now what is that up here in the top of the head? It's a pit. What's the word for pit?
Fovea.
Fovea. And it's on the head, so it's called the fovea capitis. Okay, it's the head pit. Fovea is the pit, capitis is the head. Okay, so I got fovea capitis, that's where the ligament fits in and holds your femur to your acetabulum. Okay, so 1, 2, head, neck. Big bump, little bump.
Yes.
But on femur it's called
Trochanter.
Trochanter.
So greater trochanter and
Lesser
then I
trochanter.
got a crest,
No.
and then I have a line.
And on the anterior.
Okay.
Okay, what's the crest called?
Yeah, because
It's not on our
we don't have
notes.
that on our notes.
Now, well, I should have been on the notes.
No.
On your tell me what are you gonna call it?
Intertrochanter.
It's between 2 trochanters, so you got the, on the humerus we have the intertubercular sulcus. What do you have on the femur? The intertrochanteric crest or the intertrochanteric line.
Where is it?
Okay, so I got head, neck, greater trochanter, lesser trochanter, crest, intertrochanteric crest or intertrochanteric line, right?
They're both the
True?
same thing?
Yeah.
Okay, now
Okay.
come down here. This is the linea aspera, right?
Yes.
No, I'm sorry, this is gluteal tuberosity here.
No.
And what does gluteus mean?
We're looking at the
Oh,
posterior.
okay.
Buttocks, right?
Yeah.
And some of these lines are really big. Some of them are smaller. It just depends how much muscle pull you have on them. Some of these football players, I promise you, you look at their bones and that gluteus, you look at them and that's a lot of power. Okay, then, if that's the gluteal tuberosity, what muscle attaches there? Gluteus maximus. Okay, so then, this down here is the linea aspera, okay? That's the aspirated line. And when you aspirate, you throw things up, right? So the line's pulled out a little bit more, but it's a line. It's not a crest, although it could be. But this is a line, okay? Now, what is this? Okay, so is it medial lateral?
Medial,
Use your
medial
head.
condyle,
Medial? That's
lateral
okay,
condyle,
And these bumps are on the condyle, so they're going to be on. Okay, and
epicondyle,
which side are they on?
lateral, medial,
Medial side, and this
epicondyle,
is?
lateral,
And this part in here is?
Intercondylar.
The notch inside, right? And what is it in between?
Condyle.
Yeah, but what's the name of the notch?
intercondylar,
Intercondylar notch, right? This is a notch, true? And it's in between 2 condyles, so we're going to call it the intercondylar notch.
Why is that not a fossa?
It is called a fossa too.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Yeah, if you call it fossa, you get it right.
Okay.
But when you hold it up, it looks like a notch. So to me, it looks like a notch. So you can call it, but it's a shallow depression. And sometimes they call it. Now, what's that little bump? There's a little bump right there.
That adductor.
Adductor, it's a little bump, so it's a tubercle, true?
adductor,
And since
tubercle.
it's on the medial side and the adductor muscle attaches to it, you're going to call it the adductor tubercle of the
Femur.
femur. Okay, now let's go back and make sure we get them in little sets. Head and neck, right? And on the head I have a pit.
Fovea
Fovea
capitis.
capitis.
Fovea capitis, right? Then I have a trochanter, greater and lesser trochanter, true?
Mhm.
And then I have, in between the trochanters, I have a crest and a line, so it's gonna be called the intertrochanteric
Intertrochanter.
crest, and the other side's gonna be the intertrochanteric line. Then gluteus maximus is coming down, this is gonna be the gluteal tuberosity. Doesn't look like a tuberosity to me, but that's what they call it.
Okay.
And then this is linear aspirate, right, the aspirated line, so what are the two things you have on the shaft? Two. Gluteus tuberosity and linear aspirate. Then you come down here, articulating surface, gonna be a condyle, true?
One is medial, one is lateral.
Okay, but one part of it's on this side, one part's on this side, though. There's the medial portion, and this is the lateral. What's the name of that epicondyle?
Lateral epicondyle.
This is epicondyle and,
Medial epicondyle.
okay, and there's your intercondylar
Notch.
notch, okay? And then,
Adductor.
Adductor,
Tubercle.
oh,
tubercle.
tubercle. Okay, so now, let's go back to the foot again. Got your foot down? No nervousness when you take the test.
Right.
Right.
You go over that foot, you got it down. Just relax. Anything you do to stimulate you to raise that threshold, instead of your resting membrane potential being -90, you're going to raise it up to 95 and 96. When you do that, it takes more stuff to open up the gates to get the right answer, true? And you don't need to open those gates when you're walking down the hall, when you started to relax, and you just finished your test and you've already handed it in, and then you go, oh, that's the answer I should have put down.
That's true.
You better relax. Okay, now let's look at the hip.